Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the East Aurora Village Board, January 17th, 2023 regular meeting. If you could join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which is stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call attendance, please, Maureen.
Trustee Lizikas, Trustee Cameron,
Here.
Trustee Vijay,
Here.
Trustee Flynn, Trustee Kimmelhart,
Here.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Mayor Mercurio.
Present.
5 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. I get a motion to approve the minutes of the village board meeting for December 19, 2022.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract for 12/20/22 for voucher numbers 63024 and 63025 for a total of 1,401,927. 1,401,920. That's a lot of, it's a big number.
A big number.
Yeah. $1,401,927.86. So moved. Moved by Ernie. Second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract for 1/3/23 for voucher numbers 63021 to 63063 for a total of $138,660.37.
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract for 1/17/23 for voucher numbers 63064 to 63120 for a total of $61,213.03.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
I'll second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Moving on to our first speakers and communications. There will be one now and another one at the end, near the end of the meeting, where the public is invited to come up and comment on anything they choose. Please raise your hand, and when called on, give us your name and address and come up to the microphone if able. Anyone? Anyone at all? All right, you'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Moving on to our first public hearing, can I get a motion to open a public hearing to consider a local law to exceed the tax cap at 7:04 p.m.
So
moved. Moved by Ernie, second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. The public hearing is now open. Maureen, anything you want to say about it?
Do it every year. It covers us just in case you need to exceed the tax cap when we do the budget. And if there's any errors in the calculations, it covers us for that as well.
Very good. Thank you. Anyone from the public care to comment on this? Sir?
Dave Peltian from Church Street here in the village. And just want to say, I love living in the village. I love this place, but I hate my tax bills. And every year they go up more than inflation. And I understand that there's inflation and there's an increase in expenses, but every year it goes up. And that's for me. I'm been blessed with a good job, but I know there's a lot of people on fixed incomes that are inflation adjusted. So when taxes go up faster than inflation, it's a lot tougher on them to make ends meet. And picking especially of our retired citizens. And so I understand this is a contingency agreement. This is not a statement that you will exceed the tax cap. But hopefully you guys can get by without it. Thanks.
Yeah, I think last year we only went up, we increased the tax rate by 0.86%, was it?
It was slightly higher than that, but it was under 2. It was
Under the tax
Yeah, it was
cap.
under 2. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:06 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. 3B, can I get a motion to consider, to open a public hearing to consider a local law to amend Village Code Section 285.3-31.7-F, drive-through facilities at 7:06 PM.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. The public hearing is now open. Kathy? Quick highlight?
Sure, this actually came to my, came to my attention with the NICOM training because they just, it was all cannabis and a lot of it I already was aware of. But trying to pay attention in any event to all of the information that was presented, they always do a nice job with the webinars. But I just happened to catch that the presenter had mentioned that the licensees for getting retail dispensaries, in our case, would be eligible also to request to have a drive-through for part of their business model. And I was aware that we definitely aren't big drive-through proponents here in the village. We certainly don't care for them, and they're not permitted certainly for restaurants. The two commercial businesses that we have them for are basically pharmacies and banks. So I was thinking that we probably, that the village board should think about if they wanted to, now that we are going to be having at some point potentially one or more cannabis retail dispensaries, if we wanted to prohibit drive-through operations for those particular facilities. And as it so happens, our current code also calls out that drive-throughs are not permitted for liquor stores. And one of the things that we hear in the training all the time about regulating anything having to do with cannabis is it's best not to treat a cannabis operation more restrictively than a liquor store operation. But in this case, since we already have a prohibition against drive-throughs for liquor stores, I believe we will be okay. You never know, but on solid ground as far as if the village board would like not to have drive-throughs for the cannabis retail facilities.
Thank you. Anyone from the public like to speak on this? All right, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:08 PM?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is closed. Moving on to 3C. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing to consider a local law to amend Village Code Section 285-60.7, terms and words as defined at 7:09 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. The public hearing is now open. Kathy, quick high level?
This
Please.
has to do with our definitions in our code, and this actually came up very recently in the town of Aurora. And our code, as far as this definition, is not identical, but very similar. And it has, because of some entertainment that has been offered in the area recently in the town of Aurora, it came to light that the definition for adult entertainment establishment includes that something would be considered that kind of adult entertainment if it was, these four words are proposed to be deleted for this proposal, male or female impersonators. The town did go around about it and had a hearing, and ultimately the town board voted unanimously to eliminate that phrase or those four words, because they could mean a lot of things and they're not necessarily linked to adult entertainment. That proposal is now before the village, that we would mirror what now the town code revision is, if the village board's wishes, the majority of the village board, to eliminate just the phrasing in our adult entertainment established definition and take out any reference to male or female impersonators.
Thank you. Would anyone like to speak on this topic? Dave?
Dave Pelton, still living on Church Street in the village. And I had sent last week an email to all of you except for Mr. Pierce. I think my email went to Chris Trapp instead, and it attached two different items. One was a memo from the state of New York in regards to regulations on adult entertainment. The other one was an opinion from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Lyons versus Philadelphia. And the purpose of that court decision, which goes to 2017, is to demonstrate that some of the arguments proposed for changing this code are ill-advised. Number one, it is enforceable. And in that case, the code was enforced. Again, not identical to what's here in the village, but substantially similar. And two, is because of how you would interpret the code, how the courts would look at it. And you don't look at just the phrase. When our good friend over here, Mr. Goller, dresses up as Nancy Pelosi, it is not a sexualized performance. However, the stream of things of topless strippers, male or female impersonators, and similar entertainers means it's supposed to be considered in that entire context. And also not just the context of that strict definition, but the whole adult use code. What's the purpose for it? And the primary purpose is to keep unfriendly uses or incompatible uses separated. Right now, drag shows, if you will, are legal in both the village and the town. But now in the town, they're unregulated. And if you pass this, they would be unregulated as well. Totally unregulated. You could have them next to a school, you could have them next to a church or somebody's home. And these are incompatible uses for most people. And why are we doing this? The different argument, you don't like it, don't go. How does that apply and not to a strip joint or a sex toy store? It's the same thing. If you don't like it, don't go. No, because we have realized over the years, there's been research that was done before this code was passed and through a lot of court battles as to what the regulations are and the purposes for that, which include protecting the character of our community. You know, and if we have something up on the historic district of Main Street, you know, I'm really proud that the sign that says Church in Maine has been in 5 different movies. Okay, and they're really cute, fun movies. That's part of why I live here. If we go and we change this, you're just opening up a Pandora's box. There's no immediate need to do it. There's no court challenge. And I would urge you to take the time to review the materials that I provided, because the statement that it's unenforceable, which was the determination of the town attorney, is just plain false, because the only court decision out there found that it was enforceable. And we're not looking at discriminating against anyone. In fact, it would be carving out an exception for the people that like that kind of entertainment and giving them superior rights over any other type of adult entertainment, and also giving them superior rights against schools and churches and residences. So I would urge you to carefully consider this. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on this issue? Miss?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees. Margaret Potter, 114 Park Place, East Aurora, New York. I'll be brief. I do support the change, the elimination of this wording from the code, primarily to bring it into agreement with the new wording in the town code, and also to recognize that this is the 21st century. We don't need to be excluding this type of expression from the public space. in my opinion. So I would strongly recommend they make the change and do so tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to comment? Okay, can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:16 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second,
Second.
second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is closed. 3D. Can I get a motion to open a public hearing to consider a local law to amend sections of Village Code Chapter 9, the capital program at 7:16 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second,
Second.
second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Public hearing is now open. Gotta think about that one.
When our capital committee, when the capital committee was meeting, we were going through the law. And we just found that I found that the timeline didn't necessarily work for when we do our budget to approve the capital plan. Not prior to the budget. How do you budget then? You would want to know what it was ahead of time. So it changes the timeline, and then the original plan was written a very long time ago, and the dollar amounts are not equal. I believe it said $10,000 before it was a capital purchase. We spend $10,000 more often. It's not really a capital purchase. So we increased that amount as well.
That's where you just plugged in that little blue zero to make it 100,000.
I just did.
But that's not the only change, right? I mean,
It's to the timeline, to the process, but a lot of the process changes are no different than what it is now. I think one of them was, does something need to be added to the capital plan before the board can buy it? You could either do a resolution that says the board is going to buy this and we're adding it to the capital plan. Or you could do it anyways. Nothing's changing. It's all stuff that you could do now as it is.
very good. Thank you. Would anyone from the public like to speak on this topic? All right. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing at 7:18 PM?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. 3D, the public hearing is now closed. Moving on to official considerations. 4A is our discussion decision on proposals to realign East Fillmore Ave. Proposed sidewalks in the area in conjunction with the Town of Aurora project to replace the East Fillmore Avenue structure over Tannery Brook.
I'll make that motion
What motion?
to have the discussion and make
Okay.
a decision.
Well, I mean, we don't need a motion.
You don't need a vote.
Oh, okay. All right.
Talk.
Yeah.
We can talk
All right.
and we can decide.
And then if someone wants to make a motion, they can make a motion.
Okay.
So, did we approve the water line at the last one? Kathy?
No, we
We haven't yet.
segregated that.
Nothing's been approved, right? Right.
Right.
So you know the three topics, we could start with the road, that's the big one. The town highway superintendent came to us when, was it October?
Mhm.
October, and said that he had applied for and gotten a grant to replace the bridge at the end of East Fillmore. And said they would like the village to consider whether we wanted to pay for a road realignment that would marry the two projects together in a better way, I think, than would be if they just replaced, if the town just replaced the bridge. And so we've gone over the diagrams, we've discussed this multiple times. How do the trustees feel about that concept? I think we agreed on an amount not to exceed 125,000. Without tentative, that came from the architects without the board I mean, if it exceeded 125, the board could weigh in and we could be like, sure, you know, do another 50 if you need to or whatever, or we could say, no, we're out. But that's the project as it lay. What are your thoughts?
Well, somebody's got to start this, right?
Mhm.
So I think that we've heard a lot of sentiment about that we all feel that we wish we could keep the single lane bridge, and I think we've heard that from the residents as well. But I also think that it's not possible. And that's tied in with the grant money, which is really important to make use of. But for me, I'm not interested in realigning the road or adding sidewalks to support the bridge project. I think we've heard enough from people that are directly impacted, especially those on Fillmore. I mean, I think that the highway department has said that they're going to proceed with the project with or without us.
The road
Project.
part, that's the part we're talking about now.
Right. So obviously, if we have a bridge, it's going to have a road. But I'm not in favor of realigning the turn on the road and then adding additional expense to that project.
I'm kind of in agreement with Marcia. I think it would have been beneficial if the town came to us first before they went after this grant money to get our input and support. I think it's unfortunate they didn't go after the total money for the entire project and just the bridge. I understand they do all the bridge stuff, but if the road work has to be done as part of the bridge work, I feel like the grant should cover all of the work there. So I think they do what they can do with the grant money, and if that is what they can do.
Yeah, I was curious why Dave Gunner didn't include that, right? From what I understand, the architects for the town said it's an integral, the road realignment's an integral part of the project. And so I feel like I'm viewing it as one project, you know, versus him coming to us in October saying, hey, if you want the road realigned, you guys need to pay for it.
And I believe the architect just told Kathy that they can't make it a separate project on the contract documents anyways. It has to be one project.
Can't make it a separate bid or
An alternate.
yeah.
And we don't have firm numbers really yet, do we?
Just an estimate, architectural estimate.
Right.
Yeah, that's the part that unsettles me is I think it just puts us in sort of an impossible situation, you know, where we're supposed to be responsible for the budget and then there's this sort of unknown X coming in. And especially to try to sprint and do this in 4 months. 4 months sounds like a long time, but not in government. This, you know, we're trying to look at all these plans and make the right decision. And we've seen what happens when you rush things.
So if Dave said the town is probably gonna go ahead with it anyway. Right, then that difference, whatever the increase, but whatever he can do or whatever the contractors can do, any increased cost for the road realignment itself will be paid for by the A fund, the village and town taxpayers. So it'll still be paid by the entire community. If they see it as needing to be done. Ernie?
Yeah, I don't like the added costs. I don't like the question marks around it. I agree with Marcia. I agree with everything that's been said. I think that's the way I'm gonna go.
I mean, I think it really goes back to, it would have been nice to have had a discussion up front before the grant was applied for, but you know, it's water under the bridge.
It's like Pat Shea all over again. He used to come up with those.
Sorry.
All right, so does anyone want to make a motion to for the village to pay for the road realignment.
Well, if we need to make a motion for something, can we just make a motion for, okay.
We don't need to make a motion for anything.
Well, no, but I mean, if we want to do the water line.
Well, I was just talking about the road
Yeah,
realignment.
okay.
So no one wants to make a motion on the road realignment. It's the vibe I'm getting. It's very, very clear. So then that takes us to the sidewalks. So the sidewalks, I believe they recommended doing it on the north side of the street. It would be like the last 3 or 4 houses on the south side of the bridge. Compass. And right, maybe 1 or 2 properties on the other side of the bridge.
Mhm.
But in our code, in the village code, if the village puts in a sidewalk in front of your house, the resident, the homeowner is responsible for half of the cost of that. So the concern is we're gonna put sidewalks in people's yards that have come to the meetings repeatedly and said they don't want them, and then billing them for half of it.
Which I don't think is right. I think I'm a sidewalk person, but where those sidewalks would go with the pitch, with the, the
Right.
fact they're losing lawn and they're adding maintenance, and we have people who are then asked to absorb a large part of the cost. I just don't think that's right. And when you have alternatives, other safe sidewalks
Mhm.
that a child could use, or children and families, to get themselves out Pine Street, they don't have to go that way. And, you walk around the corner and a little ways up, you've got sidewalks again. I mean, it's,
I
we have
remember
no
a resident
record, we have
came,
no record of anyone being injured on that corner now, but I just can't in good conscience have people who are, retired in a couple of cases, or, have to absorb the cost. I just don't think that's right. And it's not a good place for a sidewalk anyways.
I know a resident came and said that they timed the walk from that intersection at, what is it, Martin and Fillmore?
Mhm.
Whether they went down Fillmore or went down Warren to
Mhm.
Beulah's, it took them the same amount of time. I looked at the map and Warren looks like a longer walk. I just
Mhm.
drove it with my odometer and it was 0.3 miles both ways. So it's that close. So if you want sidewalks or need sidewalks, you can still access them all the way down.
And you have,
You don't have to go across.
and you have a sidewalk going across the bridge.
Yeah,
So
well,
while
there's
you're
a
on the bridge,
there's a
you've got-
buffer. the
Yeah,
buffer
you got a
area.
buffer area, you got a buffer walkway to get you off the bridge, so you
Yeah.
can get yourself to a.
You're not pinched between the
Yeah.
railings of a
And then
car.
you just have to, just a little bit on the street and you're back on the sidewalk. But it's,
And that's worked for years.
it's been
Yeah.
fine all my life.
It's a short structure. Not a bridge, it's a structure.
It's a structure.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, sorry.
So does anybody want to make a motion to approve the sidewalk option that the highway superintendent gave us? Crickets. All right. That leaves us with the water line. Matt, do you just want to touch on that? Please?
Yes. There is a 4-inch water main that runs underneath the concrete slab to the west of the bridge. And it now is the perfect time to replace it with an 8-inch and valve at each side. So any future water line improvements can be tied in a lot easier.
And they recommended it would cost about, they suggested it would cost around 60,000. Does that seem like a fair amount coming from their
Yeah,
architect?
that I believe that's a
Reasonable.
high side estimate.
But you still think it's reasonable?
Yes, it definitely should be done now rather than later.
Right.
Mayor, specifically in the resolution, the engineer's estimate is 60,000 actually. And that does have a 15% contingency included. And I know that the town had specifically said, rather than just going exactly with the engineer's estimate, this was what, when we're talking about the road realignment, but he had to do, rather than that one, that was the 113, and we were willing to go to the not to exceed 125. But in this case, the engineer's estimate is at 60. So the proposal, this is what you agree with, has that, but if the total that comes in when the bids are opened, not to exceed 70, so that's your top number, that you would, be looking at. And then if it were to be any amount higher than that, then it would be the village's options to look at and see what you wanted to do, if you want to proceed, or if you wanted to agree to pay more if it came in over that.
So 60,000 includes the 15% contingency. and
As
we're
the
including
engineer's
it not
estimate.
to exceed 70, just in case
That's what you.
prices
that's what's
change
proposed.
dramatically
Yes.
during the course of this project.
Yep.
Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion for the resolution for the village participation in the project to include replacement of the existing water line?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Moved by Marcia, second by Kristen.
Mhm.
Further discussion?
It just makes sense to do it now.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Approved?
do you need a roll call on that or?
Not that one.
Okay.
I got a bunch that do after that.
Okay,
4B, can I get a motion to approve a local law to exceed the tax cap?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? Okay, we're gonna do a roll call vote, starting with Kristen.
Aye.
Aye. Grace.
Aye.
Aye. Ernie
Aye.
and Marcia,
I,
and I am an aye. So 4B is approved. 4C, can I get a motion to determine significance under the seeker for a local law to amend Village Code 285-31.7-F for drive-through facilities?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. 4D, can I get a motion to approve a local law to amend Village Code Section 285-31.7-F for drive-through facilities?
so moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Grace. Further discussion?
I have a question,
Yes.
probably for Chris. Does the way this is written affect pharmacy drive-throughs for medical cannabis at all? Do you know?
This would be for retail establishments is defined.
Okay, because it says
Pharmacy
cannabis
retail.
operation, including retail establishments.
Well, the way the state's defining retail establishments is different, because right now you already have medical marijuana, and that's already allowed through a
Pharmacy, okay. Just want to make sure we're not limiting that.
They should be fine,
Okay.
because you still need a
Still
prescription
working
for
on
that.
it.
Right.
Versus the retail is
Right.
like, you wanna go in and buy it.
So like CVS, if you could get a prescription for cannabis and CVS had it, you could still go through their drive-through.
Okay. All right, roll call vote. Kristen?
Aye.
Grace?
Aye.
Ernie?
Aye.
Marcia?
I,
And I am an aye as well. That's approved. 4E, can I get a motion to determine significance under seeker for a local law to amend Village Code 285-60.7, terms and words defined?
I'll make the motion for a neg deck.
Neg deck by Kristen, second.
second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. 4F, can I get a motion to approve a local law to amend Village Code Section 285-60.7, terms and words defined?
so moved.
Moved by Marcia, second.
Second.
Second by Ernie. All right, further discussion on this one.
I think we should be in alignment with the town.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we still are empowered to prevent sexualized performances.
Mhm.
My family and I volunteer for Camp Good Days at the world's largest disco. There's a big group of drag queens who come to it, and it's hilarious. There's nothing sexual about it. It's just so crazy tall in those 6-inch heels. But Yeah, that's what I'm envisioning if, if it does happen. That's what we can expect. And we'll still have, like I said, be empowered to challenge any sexualized performances under our adult use law as it exists.
Right, yeah, in the same way that we could challenge any other sexualized performance,
Mhm.
You get a band that starts stripping someplace. That's every bit as much a problem as, drag queens putting on some kind of lurid show versus their normal stuff.
Yeah,
It's,
I'm not allowed to take my t-shirt off anymore when I mow the lawn. My wife has banned that.
That's laughter.
It's, no longer allowed. That's a performance nobody needs to see.
Any other discussion on 4F? All right, roll call vote. Kristen,
I,
Grace,
Aye.
Ernie,
Aye.
and Marcia,
Aye.
and I am an I as well. That's approved. 4G, can I get a motion to approve a local law to amend sections of Village Code Chapter 9, the capital program?
so moved.
Moved by Kristen, second by Grace. Further discussion. Kristen, you helped with that, right? You're on the capital committee?
Maureen did most of it, but yeah, I helped. Yeah, I think I noticed that the local law, the last time that amount was updated, is just about exactly as old as I am.
Oh, gee.
$10,000. I don't mind, it's fine. It's not a secret. Yeah, $10,000 is a little bit different now.
I went through.
Very good. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor? Oh, no, roll call vote. Kristen,
Aye.
Grace,
Aye.
Ernie,
Aye.
and Marcia,
Aye.
and I'm an I as well. So that also passes. All right, 4 for 4. Can I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for the Aurora Players for free summer outdoor performances in Hamlin Park?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second by Grace. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to refer to the planning commission a special use permit for Aurora Cider House, Lenny Seolick, 198 Main Street.
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second by Ernie. Further discussion. What date is, we're just gonna refer to when's their next meeting, do you know?
The 7th, I believe.
Right.
Of February.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to refer to the planning commission as special use permit for a bar at Main and Hamlin, Andrew Miller and Joseph Morcell, 198 Main Street.
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to advertise for bids for improvements to the culvert structure behind 227 Main Street?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve budget adjustments for the 2022-2023 budget?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second by Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to appoint part-time public safety dispatcher Stephen Rosler to start January 18th, 2023?
So moved.
Moved by Marcia, second by Grace. Further discussion? Chief?
Steve is a full-time dispatcher in the town of Lancaster. So he's gonna be kind of plug and play. He's gonna train for a couple weeks just to learn our policies, procedures, and all of our fire departments and everything that goes along with the job here. But from all signs point to him being an excellent dispatcher already, so it should be pretty easy.
Is he just gonna cover occasional shifts, or is he gonna
Yeah,
put in
he
X amount of hours a
some
week?
part-time hours to supplement his income and, help his retirement. So
Okay.
it's pretty common among dispatchers to do that.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion? Moved by Marcia, seconded by Grace. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Congratulations, Stephen. assume Steve is not here.
He is now.
Nope, pretty much everybody in here. Can I get a motion to appoint Dave Simeon to the planning commission to finish a term to expire the first Monday in April of 2025?
So moved.
Moved by,
Either me or Ernie.
Got I wasn't looking, I was looking this way. Cause I think your voices sound the same, so it's
Yeah.
easier if I look this way and I just listen this way. I don't want you to feel neglected. All right, we're gonna say moved by Kristen, second by Ernie.
Yeah, ladies before gentlemen.
Yes. Further
He's a
discussion?
good guy. He's a really, really talented.
Yeah.
Individual.
I like Dave a lot. He's on the
And
tree
he's
board now.
very-
He comes to a lot of meetings and talks on various issues. Even when he's really passionate or fired up about something, he keeps a level head,
Yeah.
which is key. He's a good communicator, very thoughtful. Yeah, I think we're lucky that he was willing to take on the role in the planning commission. I think it's a
He's
good
become
fit
a
for
friend of
him.
mine. He's really, I'm very impressed by him.
Whose term is he filling? Sorry.
Aaron Fisher.
Oh, okay.
All right, moved by Kristen, second by Ernie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Welcome, Dave. And can I get a motion to declare surplus property, all fire hoses? Fire hose? What's a plural of hose? Is it hoses?
Hoses,
Hoses?
unless you're talking about stockings.
Well, that's hosiery.
That's true.
Hosiery.
Hosiery.
All fire hosiery.
Hosiery department.
Right.
All
Hey,
right.
hey, that's the
Anyway.
thing today, right?
Oh, boy.
Dress up.
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
All
It's not
fire
enough to be this slap
hoses.
happy.
All fire hoses over 20 years old to be donated to outlying farms for irrigation.
That's cool.
That's cool. I never heard of that before. That's great.
Apparently we did before, but it was such a long time ago.
Yeah. So those huge irrigation things on the wheels that are like hundreds of feet long, what do they use it to, they connect them? They all make them standard fire hose size so they can just connect them to them? Maureen, is there some kind of adapter?
Oh, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take a field trip out there and see how they.
See where our hosiery's going. All right. So can I get a motion to do that?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second
Second.
Marcia. Further discussion? Please no. All those in
Started
favor?
this. Aye.
I,
Opposed? Approved. No old business. Second, speakers and communications. If anybody would like to speak on any topic, raise your hand and come up when called on. Come on up.
Rhoda Johnson, 898 East Fillmore Avenue, East Aurora, New York. Just a question because I didn't quite hear when you were discussing the sidewalks. Are you still considering putting sidewalks in front of all our homes, or is that off the table for now?
So the town is responsible for the project.
Yeah.
They asked the
and-
village if we wanted to do these three things, the water line, the road realignment, and the sidewalks.
Right.
The village only opted in for the water line.
Yeah, because
So here's a question, can the town, since it's their project, put sidewalks in front of village residences? They can't, correct?
I can't think so.
And since we didn't vote for it, they can't do it. Nope, it's not happening.
They are not,
I think
they are not
all right,
authorized by
that-
anything this board did.
Pardon me?
They're not authorized to put them in by. anything
They're
this
not.
board
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
You can put a sidewalk in front of your house if you want it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say so. I was gonna buy you a beer right now.
No,
but-
absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely not. We cannot take it.
What about the road alignment? They really don't, I mean, I know they're gonna have to align when they move that bridge.
Their architect said that the road alignment was part of the big bridge project, an integral part, or I don't remember
What is it?
exactly the term he used. So, Dave Gunner had also said that the town highway superintendent
They would take care of
had
it.
said that they would likely take care of it if the village didn't opt in to do it. So between him and what their architect is saying, it sounds like they need to do it. It's kind of been their project. He started it whatever a year ago when he started this grant application. So we're leaving it to them to,
That's gonna be up to them.
it's gonna be up to them.
Okay, but as far as the sidewalk is concerned, they have no
We're not doing it
Yeah.
and they didn't, they don't have the
Thank you
ability
so
to do
much.
it.
I have no other questions.
Okay. All right, still speakers and communications. Anyone else?
Right here.
Sir? Hello, Tim.
Tim Stroh, 360 Center Street. I just wanted to clarify one thing. I heard, maybe I misheard, about the road realignment, if necessary. I spoke once before and requested the village safety board to look at that situation, which I'm told that they would defer to the engineer. I think the engineers made it kind of clear, pretty clear, that the road should be realigned to make it proper. But I just want to point out that, not that I'm advocating for sidewalks, I'm neutral. I have no stance on it. However, the safety issue with a road, depending on what they do, will be exacerbated without sidewalks. And interestingly enough, on the same agenda is additional costs behind 227 Main Street to repair something. When looking at the design, was a predictable occurrence of additional expense. I hope that the village leadership looks at this situation similarly, so that down the road, pardon the pun, there's not an additional expense incurred that could have been addressed up front when it would have been much cheaper, more economical. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Anyone else? Open speakers and communications. Last chance to speak publicly at this meeting. All right, speakers and communications is closed. Before we go to our department head report, I would just like to point out Dave Simeon joined us today. Dave Simeon, everybody. Thanks for getting on the planning committee, Dave. Appreciate you. We said nice things about you. I don't know if your dad mentioned it, but we said nice things about you. They're broken? Because I couldn't get in because I forgot my keys, and I had to call Kathy, and we thought it's because it was Tuesday that maybe the timers are just set for Mondays. The door lock is broken. I put a garbage can in there, I wedged it in there.
It was a
Yeah, I
nice touch.
appreciate that.
Did it? So everybody,
Yeah.
I assume Martha came in unlocked.
We all would have been standing on
All
it.
right. Broke a window. Yeah. All right. Well, you missed us saying nice things about you, Dave. It was very promise. You can watch it. You can watch the video later. All right, department head report, Shane.
We're working with Auctions International. We have two patrol cars, old patrol cars that we're gonna put up for auction in the next couple weeks. As you see, we're continuing hiring dispatchers. We still need a full-time position filled. They're offering the county's offering the test in the next couple weeks. Unfortunately, it takes about 6 months to get the results back. But we should be okay with the part-timers we're hiring for the interim. There are a couple of them are going to want to work as many hours as we allow them. So we should be all set with that. And other than that, we're just working on the budget and meeting with Maureen Thursday to go over that. So.
Thank you, Shane. Matthew.
The DPW staff is in the process of rehabbing the restrooms at Hamlin Park down near the football field. They gutted the both rooms, and they're realigning the plumbing. And then they will start up with the epoxy floors, and then continue with more work after that's set up.
Awesome. What do you lay the epoxy right on? Apply the epoxy right onto the concrete?
Yes, sir.
And then is space wise, you're gonna have some room to be able to get at the plumbing
Plumbing is all going to be behind the wall.
so that it's less likely to be
Yeah,
vandalized.
hopefully vandal proof.
That's a good idea, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing it. Anything else? Okay. Code enforcement officer Elizabeth Cassidy. All good. All right. Okay.
I just did some, quite a big variety of training just recently. I did go to a disaster land refresher. I had been there before. Maureen has been doing that for us, but I always feel it's good to have as many people trained as possible to do that. That's so whenever there is an emergency, can't imagine that we've had any couple like two in the last 2 months. Whenever anything is needed, the county absolutely wants everyone to put everything in through this system. It's called the D-Land system. So, and so I did my notes up. So even for Maureen for a refresher with my notes. So, we'll be doing that, and we can also look at getting other people trained if we think that that is, helpful. I went to the annual, Hodgins Russ is a local attorney firm, and they put on annual labor and employment training that is always very, very excellently done. I thought my head was going to kind of explode because they had so many modules, and the book is very thick, and they go very quickly. It is really wonderful training, and there were just a lot, actually, considering it's labor and employment, and frankly, we're in New York State, you learn a lot of things that you wish maybe you didn't necessarily know. Chris Strapp, do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So, but it's all good to know to make sure you're compliant with everything. So that was really, really helpful training. Everybody got a blast from NICOM tonight. I'm just going to say my personal opinion about how unhappy I am with the governor's proposal to usurp zoning authority or override zoning authority for all local governments throughout New York State, trying to increase housing. I think, did you use the broad brush term? Was that yours earlier? So, so understand there's a concern for lack of housing in many areas. But, you know, obviously downstate in New York City, a lot of this is aimed at, but basically they're making everybody do the same thing. And I think it would be very difficult if it stays the way that it is as far as percentages as you have to meet for increased housing, since we are so already almost fully developed. Of course, if doing the senior housing on the former Fisher Price properties will certainly help. But other than that, it's just a state, in my view, overreaching again and telling local governments what to do. And I think that local governments have a really good idea of what to do and protect people's interest at the local level. And now the state is coming and saying, well, if you don't do what we think ought to be done, then we're going to come in and overrule, you know, basically what you said. So that's still all to be determined. NICOM is working on it, and there's a lot of things that have to, you know, still happen. And I don't know how it's going to shake out,
Kathy,
but
I don't
it's
know
a concern.
if they talked about this at all, but so if a local municipality doesn't approve a developer's project, or the ZBA doesn't approve a developer's project, do they petition the state to come in and override it? Is it like do they escalate?
It's not exactly clear, but there will be a process, an appeals process, where if you don't like the answer from the local government, you go to the state, and the state can just come in and say, yeah, we don't like what the local government did either, and you're approved. Right? So Chris, is it your initial interpretation?
We're having a discussion at our Friday municipal council meeting, you know, for part of the state bar on precisely that subject. And yes, although there are no set rules and regulations yet, it's just very amorphous, you know, out there. Part of the problem is removal of the rights of the local municipality in terms of controlling their own zoning. And right now, if a developer doesn't like a decision, they have the right to go to court, and there's a formal procedure. Well, now it's being taken even out of the court and put in the hands of the state bureaucracy that can simply overrule.
It's really terrible. Didn't know that I thought that.
Horrible.
It undermines local government's authorities.
The state has been trying to do that for years.
So just Chris and I will certainly keep you posted on.
Oh, yeah.
On those developments. That's
you.
fine. Thank you.
Hey, Kathy, any chance there's any update on Code Red these days? Speaking
That would
of
be Maureen.
disasters?
I actually
okay.
have it here.
Okay.
I have two things. I'll do Code Red first
Maureen.
then. So Shane and I met, and we put together a policy for Code Red. It's not quite ready to go to the board for approval yet, because we are waiting for access to Code Red. I put in documents weeks ago, and I haven't gained access to it yet. I've been communicating via email with Luke, but I'm going to try to get him on the phone on some of the setup questions and concerns we have. Some of the things that they said during the sales portion are not coming through right now, so we're trying to get through that. But we want to be able to write a little bit more detail around using code red in the policy. So we want to be able to log into it first to be able to write that. Otherwise we have a basic one. So hopefully I'll have it for the next board meeting. And then for the budgets, working with the department heads for the budgets, we're meeting this week so that we're ready for the February 4th work section so that you guys can have the documents ahead of time to review.
Very good. Thank you, Maureen. Kristen?
Yeah, just on that same topic, just as a reminder, those budget work sessions are open to the public. So if anybody wants to see our thrilling budget process, you're certainly welcome on the 4th. That's all I've got.
Very good. Grace?
What's that?
Ernie?
Yeah, I would encourage, playing off of what Kristen just said, for people to come in and actually sit through budget meetings and see how we go through line by line, and we try to, watch our dollars, and, unlike the state or the federal government, we do watch how we spend our money, and we put a lot of thought into it. It would be helpful for people to actually come and see it. I was surprised myself when I went through the budget process the first time as to how thorough it is. So other than that, I have nothing.
Yeah. And Ernie and I bring donuts. If you come to the meeting, we'll give you a donut.
And you, yeah.
What's that? Got that going for you. Just gotta sit through 4 hours of budget talks. For a donut.
Just one?
Just the one, yeah, that's it. And then the little Timbits. Marcia?
I'm all set.
Okay. I am too. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second.
Second.
Second by Marcia. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Have a great evening.
I thought it was gonna be this late night. I drank this whole thing of coffee.